Hello, this is Dusty Knuckles. Welcome to my channel. I had intended on shooting this video as one continuous walking tour of one of my favorite corners of New Orleans. However, I ran into a certain young police recruit that found it very important to do their job to their absolute best during the citywide lockdown, and they continued to follow me through my first day of trying to tape and interrupted me on several occasions, so I kind of gave it up. Shot some more on another day and intended to go back and shoot it continuously as a loop, but with New Orleans being what it is and the contagion rates around town going up incrementally, my travels, I have to say, I did not go out just to shoot this video. I had physical therapy on both occasions, had to run errands and go to the grocery store, in both cases in conjunction with my physical therapy, so I'm not out just running around shooting video and breaking the New Orleans curfew and stay-at-home orders. But I was surprised at the number of people out on the streets. Lots of people on the streets, apparently doing nothing. The grocery stores were packed, the hardware store was packed, the post office was packed, and of course I was also there, so apparently people do need to keep up with their daily lives. However, it seemed to be an inordinate number of people, increasingly large over the past month. It seems like the longer this quarantine goes on, the more people are finding the need to go out and break it. So I just wanted to urge everybody to be safe out there. I hope you enjoy this edited walking tour, and happy birthday to you, StarryLock. Sorry you're locked down during this time period, but I hope you find this entertaining and you have yourself a very happy birthday. You are looking at the heavy rail line traveling down the Mississippi River at the end of the French Quarter. Here at the Esplanade Street Wharf. On the other side of that building is the mighty Mississippi River. And we are here at the end of the line, the #1 stop at the French Market of the New Orleans streetcar, the Esplanade Street Station. The streetcars are not rolling right now. They are temporarily suspended during the shelter-at-home orders and the closure of New Orleans. But the #1 station at Esplanade, and yes, we do call it Esplanade in New Orleans, not Esplanade as in the rest of the world. We enjoy sitting on the Esplanade drinking a nice frosty, refreshing lemonade. So if you can understand that, you'll also understand some of the other pronunciations that you'll hear in New Orleans of some of the odd street names due to the French, Spanish, and Creole Indian influences. This is not what I brought you down here to see. This is just the beginning of a little walking tour. Continuing our tour today, we've crossed the street from the French Market Esplanade Station. That is the river wall or the floodgates that they close to protect overflow of the Mississippi River during hurricanes. Stretches the length of the city and the Mississippi River. Well, we've crossed the street to now what is the French Market, the nation's oldest and largest open-air market, normally bustling 7 days a week with vendors, produce, and mercantiles. Back from a quick cut, we had a little intervention there for a moment from one of New Orleans police officers, wondering what we were doing outstanding on the corner during the citywide shutdown. But we're back here at the French Market, which you can see stretches several blocks down the street. But to my back is actually our final destination. I'm going to continue on through the French Market to give you a little bit more idea of what this walking tour is bringing us to. We're about halfway down the French Market, where it meets Ursuline Street. Ursuline named after the Ursuline Convent, which is just one block over behind this stretch of Decatur Street. And Decatur Street in the 80s was probably known mostly as a night spot for its goth and vampire scene, while Anne Rice's novels were very popular. It also, however, at the turn of the century in the 1800s, all these buildings are interconnected by a big courtyard between them and the Ursuline Convent. The second and third floors all have service passageways, and most of these buildings are all interconnected between the second and third floors. And during the 18th century, during the plague, the second and third floors were used for hospitalization, convalescing, and basically where most of the people that did not survive the plague wound up for their final days. A little known fact about New Orleans and Lower Decatur Street, but the prevailing centuries, Lower Decatur Street has always been one of the darker, more underground places. The Ursuline nuns, also known as the box girls, or the box girls were taken care of by the Ursuline nuns. They would arrive from places around the world to come and be married to wealthy property owners here in New Orleans. They were taken in by the Ursuline Convent, and the nuns helped caretake for many of these plague victims. But most of them were shipped off in the dead of night to marry their beaux off on the wealthy plantations, never to be heard from again. However, large coffin-sized boxes containing all of their worldly possessions were shipped out after them, and those led to many of the old New Orleans vampire stories about young ladies disappearing and coffins being seen moved in and out of the convent at all hours of the night. But I've rambled on enough about Decatur Street. We're going to head down back towards our origin and our final destination for this video. And as we finish our tour and approach our final destination, this is my corner of the world, and was actually one of my very first apartments in New Orleans in the French Quarter. That lovely second-story gallery. Gallery is denoted by the large wraparound balcony, as opposed to in the top right corner, that little, I guess, sandstone building. That third story would be considered a balcony. 3 to 4 feet, just enough to stand out or put a chair, whereas a gallery would be a large balcony suitable for multiple people. But this spot was one of my favorites because it brings us to our final destination, overlooking the courtyard and the back side and entrance. I'll get a better shot here in a moment. This is the back courtyard of the U.S. Mint. It is also the location where we would have our beer garden for the French Quarter Festival, which would normally have happened next week had it not been for the citywide shutdown. But this beautiful back green is where the second stage would be at this location, just one of over 40 stages up and down the riverfront of the French Quarter Fest, the world's largest free music festival in the world. There's also some of the best food, traditionally happening 2 to 3 weeks following the Easter weekend and after Lent, because there's so much wonderful food being cooked and prepared. And let me come back through the gate here. You can see once again, there we are back at my old apartment on the corner of Esplanade and South Peter Street, at our final destination, the old U.S. Mint. I chose this as the final destination because I do know StarryLock has an affinity for collecting coins. The old U.S. Mint is now the New Orleans Jazz Museum, However, it was an operational mint and foundry, and the only operational mint and foundry for both the United States and the Confederate governments. So it holds its place in history as a museum and as a national park landmark. But one of the things that is special about this is in this corner, underneath the beautiful trees and the lovely green grass, for 1 week a year, which would be next weekend, except for the virus has postponed it, we would set up one of over 40 large stages for the New Orleans French Quarter Fest, the largest free music festival in the world, celebrating New Orleans jazz and heritage, free music throughout the riverfront and New Orleans. We set up all the way from Canal Street at One Canal Plaza and the Riverwalk, all the way down through the river, the park, Waldenburg Park, and along the whole river wall until we get down here to the end of the French Quarter at the U.S. Mint, where I manage 3 of the stages here. One right there underneath the trees, as I said. One inside in their theater, which is our spoken word and lecture series. And then one on the back courtyard where we also have our beer garden. I'll show you some more photos of that area and a little bit more detail of the back at another point in the video. But people line up in the streets. All along the street is blocked off. This median, which we call the neutral ground in New Orleans, is filled with people in their chairs, and it is just shoulder to shoulder with everybody dancing and enjoying the free music on our jazz stage here at the U.S. Mint. So that just about wraps it up for me. I hope you've enjoyed my little bit of guided tour of one of my favorite corners of New Orleans, the French Quarter at the East End on Esplanade Avenue. This is Dusty Knuckles, and a happy birthday to StarryLock.